What's up, guys? How we doing?
We're all good, guys? All right. Coach, whenever you're ready, sir.
All right, it's always good to win on homecoming, right? And, I think that we talked specifically to the team about taking great pride in representing such a special place, right? University of Florida is a special and unique place. It's impacted a lot of lives, right, for the better. And I think our guys worked extremely hard to be well prepared today. And it was a team win, right? It wasn't necessarily the best of any of the three phases of the game, but we did just enough, to score on defense, to have a game-changing play in the punt return, to rush for 200 yards. And certainly Anthony made his plays that impacted the game. And defensively, at times, we played really good out there, and obviously gave up some third downs. But it was truly a team win, right? And the intangibles that we developed with this group of players, I'm proud of that. They continued to kind of respond and play through the ups and downs of the game. We're thankful. So, good team win. What questions we got?
Go with Edgar.
Yeah. Billy, what did you guys do? What'd you do to kind of shift things at halftime offensively? Because you guys seemed to find something. You had 4 30-yard runs in the second half after not doing much.
Yeah, we only had 19 plays, I think, in the first half, right? So we had very few opportunities. And a lot of those 19 were situational football, right? They were red zone, they were third down. So very few plays, kind of what we would call normal down and distance. So we had a lot left on the call sheet. But really some of those same concepts, we just were a little more precise. And I thought our guys up front did a good job, good vision. Obviously, you could see the backs. We got it to the second level. I think overall, and then Anthony made plays with his feet, huge plays with his feet in the game on fourth down, on third down. It was a team win. We didn't necessarily, wasn't anything great on offense, defense, and special teams, but the combination of those three got it done. Ton of respect for Missouri. They got a tough, resilient football team that's very capable.
Looking at the stat sheet and then looking at his uniform, I mean, where would this team be without Ventrell Miller on defense?
Man, I don't know how many times, they've got a play that looks like it's going to develop, and then 51 just comes out of nowhere, right? I mean, the guys Ventrell is productive as a player, right? But it's more impactful than just the production. That's the thing that's significant. I mean, the guy's inspirational relative to his example, his consistency as a person, his leadership, his presence. He makes other people around him better. And certainly that showed up today.
Billy, you had 4 sacks, 13 tackles for loss, and a couple of interceptions. Would you say that's progress considering all things?
Yeah, against a team I think that's very capable. The only thing you would probably be frustrated about with the defense would be some of those third and longs we gave up late in the game, right? Outside of that, we put them on a short field after the sack fumble, right? Overall they did extremely well. We made progress, I think, relative to the challenge Missouri presents, the gap integrity with all the outside zone, the shots. We kept everything in front of us for the most part.
And Jaydon Hill?
Yeah, Jaydon Hill. I failed to mention Jaydon. And, he was the first person that we called up in front of the team. If we were giving out game balls, we'd give one to him today, right? But, what a story, right? If you really dig into what the young man's been through, the ACL in high school, the ACL here early in his career, then the LCL, the discipline to continue the rehab, the toughness, to stay the course, right? He's got passion about this game. I always felt like watching him in spring ball that he was one of the best players we had, but that showed up today. And, his character, guys stayed the course, man, and to get him back, he was a difference maker today.
Mike Bianchi.
Coach, could you just talk about your teams? Every game, it seems, has been, except for last week, has been pretty close games. Your team's ability to stay in games. You like to win them all, but you've been in every game, and you're winning some of the close ones.
Yeah, I think we're built. We have not executed our formula to win games at the rate in which we would desire at any point. I think we're very much a work in progress, but I do believe in this group relative to the fight that they show, the competitive spirit, the intangibles. I think we've developed some togetherness. There's some chemistry there, and I think that's getting stronger. We're learning how to practice. But I do think that we're built to play winning football. I mean, we've got a formula that's won a lot of games, and I think we're getting better at that process, and I'm hopeful we can win more in the future.
Billy, how good was it to see X break one in the punt return game, and just especially in that moment there?
It was the one area in the kicking game going into the game we felt like we had some opportunity to make some money, right, to make some hay. And, great call. Got a fieldable punt. Special teams is about winning one-on-ones, right? When we pull that clip up, we're going to see our guys. Gators are winning one-on-ones. And I think that Xavier's been waiting on that opportunity. We got him loose, right? We talked about giving him an opportunity, and we finally did that today.
And how concerning is the missed field goals and just kind of that trend there?
They're both deep. I think that's one thing to consider there, right? So I think I can help them, right? I mean, that's what I think about. I think I can help them managing the game there a little bit, right? We had a couple, two-play sequences there where I think I can coach better. But ultimately, we put him out there. We expect him to make it, And, Adam's been huge for us so far this year. He missed a few today, much like there's several things I could have done better today, right? So no player goes out there and is perfect, right? And I know Adam will respond the right way going forward.
Kevin?
Your first SEC win and the first SEC win for this team in almost a year. What does that mean for the team psyche, and what does that show in terms of maybe the growth also of where you guys are?
Well, I think it shows we're capable, I think you guys are evaluating the team much like I evaluate the team, right? I mean, we're a very capable group, right? We're still not as precise and as detailed as we need to be in a lot of areas, but we are getting there. And the one thing about that group is as you can hear, they're a competitive, fiery group, right? So I think we got the right makeup. We're growing up some young players. And ultimately, at some point here, we'll continue to get better. That's going to be there's going to be some momentum that comes with that, right? And I'm hopeful that we can remain humble and we can evaluate this game independent of the outcome and see the things that we could have done better, and then go back to work on improve and get ready for the next one.
Matt Baker?
Hey, Billy, congrats. You mentioned the third and longs that you gave up in the fourth quarter. Any commonalities there that you saw without watching the film yet?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I can talk to you about that on Monday. But, third and long, the national average is under 15%, right? So when you give up that many, there's some things you need to look at. But it's all very fixable, I think.
And what was your assessment of Anthony's play overall?
No, I think we gave him more opportunities. That's a tough defensive group if we haven't figured it out, right? I mean, they've been playing good defense outside of the Kansas State game, which, really, if you think about that game, the offense turned the ball over quite a bit. A lot of short fields, return game touchdown. So that group's played really good defense the entire year, and Anthony did enough. He did enough to win. His team won today. So when you're playing quarterback, that's the goal.
David Whitley?
Bill, you talked about intangibles a lot with this team and how you're pleased with that. Can you be more specific, like it's just a fight? And is that something that just comes organically? Can you coach that into?
Well, you'd like to think you spend an entire year developing it, right? We talk about integrity a lot with our players, the ability to tell yourself the truth. Oftentimes, you're doing things halfway, or you're doing things that are wrong. You're doing things you shouldn't be doing. Do you have the courage to correct those things, right? Does your yes mean yes? Does your no mean no? And oftentimes that comes with a commitment level to the other players on the team, right? Relative to the way you're living your life. We talk about togetherness, being a great teammate. you know, embracing your role, right? Working hard to earn more, you know, being a loyal guy, a guy that people can count on. And then the discipline part, I think is huge relative to self-discipline, and also your ability to execute in a critical moment and do your job when it matters most for the team. So toughness is a huge part of it. And I think that the mental toughness is something you work, you know, that's an off-season program, that's a summer approach, that's how you practice in training camp. I do firmly believe that all these things are things that you can develop, right? And there's no ceiling to how good you can get at them, right? They're not going to get any taller, right? Maybe they get a little bit faster. Maybe they jump a little bit higher. Maybe their 5'10", 5 shuttle gets a little bit better. But all these things that we're talking about here, those are things that players can work on, right? And they can continue to grow. You know, I think that that's ultimately what we're trying to do with this group of players.
You're 4-2 now, and I think most fans would probably figure that's about where you'd be right now. Where do you see it as far as the progress and where you expected to be or where you hope to be right now?
Yeah, that's more than a press conference. You know, I mean, I think that, you know, I got a long list of things that we can do better, right? And that list, it's there every morning when I wake up, right? And it's there when I go to bed at night, you know. And all we can do is we just continue to work, right? Every single day we're working to improve, right? We're working to eliminate the deficiencies that we have. You know, we got lots of people that contribute to our team, not just players, but staff members. So we're consumed with making that list smaller, right? And I think that every team in this game, you know, that list is always there, you know. So I think we got a lot of work to do. That's what I would say.
Time for a few more. Go to Alan.
Hey, Billy, right before halftime, Missouri sort of scrambling to get on the field. Was there a personnel issue that forced you to call that timeout?
I wanted to make sure we had the right personnel on the field, right? And, you know, it felt like that little helter-skelter there relative to not only their ability to get on the field, but our ability to get 11 out there, right? So, and then also wanted to execute the rush. I mean, we're talking about a chip shot to some degree relative to the distance. You know, what would you do normally? You would call a timeout or two and freeze the guy, right? So I wanted to make sure we had the right personnel. Relative to substitutions, we had just played with a dime package on the field. We're trying to get the base. And then also wanted to try to execute the rush as best we could there, and we ended up freezing the guy. He made the kick, but I felt like we made that decision in the best interest of the team.
Sure. And on that 4th and 2 that Anthony converted seconds after coming out of the medical tent, sort of gimpy, you know, what was – I don't assume it was a delayed draw. I think he probably made a play, right?
Yeah, no, he got a little banged up, nothing major, was able to go back in the game. Yeah, there's no question. He went through the complete progression and pulled the ball down and made the first down.
Thanks.
All right. Good. Thank you, Coach. Oh, you got one more? Yeah.
Building on Princely's performance, just how do you feel like he's responded the past 2 weeks just to the lineup change and especially coming out today?
Yeah, no, I mean, Princely had a great week, right? He had a good perform well last week and then certainly had a great week of practice. Got a ton of confidence in Princely relative to his ability and his role in the team, and guys contributed in a really good way a lot of times this year, right? So Princely's got tools, man. He's got a bright future, and certainly was big a lot of times today.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. Thank you all.